The Legend of Nebuchadnezzar, an introduction. Nebuchadnezzar II, a name whispered in awe and fear, a name synonymous with power, conquest, and divine madness. As the king of Babylon, he carved his name into the annals of history, leaving behind a legacy as enduring as the ancient city he ruled. From the sands of Mesopotamia to the pages of the Bible, Nebuchadnezzar's story unfolds like an epic saga. Born into royalty, Nebuchadnezzar was destined for greatness. His father, Nabopolassar, had already laid the groundwork for a powerful Babylonian Empire. This empire would challenge the might of Assyria, the dominant force in the region. Nebuchadnezzar was groomed to inherit this legacy, to lead armies, to conquer nations, and to cement Babylon's place as the center of the ancient world. His reign, spanning over 4 decades, witnessed the pinnacle of Babylonian might. From the fertile plains of Mesopotamia to the sun-drenched lands of Egypt, Nebuchadnezzar's empire stretched far and wide. His armies were legendary, his architectural achievements awe-inspiring, and his name struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. But Nebuchadnezzar's story is not just one of military triumphs and earthly grandeur. It is a story deeply intertwined with faith, divinity, and the fate of nations. His name echoes through the pages of the Bible, forever linked to the fate of Jerusalem and the Jewish people. He is the king who destroyed Solomon's temple, sending shockwaves through the ancient world. To understand Nebuchadnezzar, we must first journey back in time. We must travel to ancient Mesopotamia, a land nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a cradle of civilization. Here, amidst the fertile plains and under the scorching sun, the Babylonian Empire rose to prominence. Before Babylon's ascendancy, the Assyrian Empire held sway over the region. The Assyrians, known for their military prowess and ruthlessness, had forged a vast empire through conquest and subjugation. However, their grip on power began to weaken, cracks appearing in their seemingly impenetrable facade. Nabopolassar, Nebuchadnezzar's father, seized this opportunity. A shrewd strategist and a courageous leader, he led a rebellion against Assyrian rule, uniting the Babylonians under his banner. The fight for independence was long and arduous, a struggle for survival against a formidable foe. Finally, in 612 BC, the unthinkable happened. Babylon, with its allies, sacked the Assyrian capital of Nineveh. This victory marked a turning point in history, signaling the end of the Assyrian Empire and the dawn of a new era, the era of Babylonian dominance. Nebuchadnezzar, a young prince at the time, witnessed this pivotal moment, a moment that would shape his destiny and the course of history. Nebuchadnezzar ascended to the throne in 605 BC, inheriting an empire on the cusp of greatness. He was a young king, filled with ambition and driven by a desire to surpass his father's achievements. His reign would be marked by relentless campaigns, grand architectural projects, and a complex relationship with the divine. One of his first acts as king was to secure Babylon's borders and quell any lingering resistance. He led his armies with tactical brilliance, crushing rebellions and expanding the empire's frontiers. From the Levant in the west to the Zagros Mountains in the east, Nebuchadnezzar's name became synonymous with military might. However, Nebuchadnezzar was not merely a conqueror. He was also a visionary builder, driven by a desire to transform Babylon into the most magnificent city in the world. He ordered the construction of towering ziggurats, imposing palaces, and the legendary Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Nebuchadnezzar's reign was also characterized by a deep religious fervor. He believed himself to be chosen by the gods, a vessel for their will. He rebuilt and restored temples, offered lavish sacrifices, and consulted oracles to seek divine guidance. This complex relationship with the divine would play a significant role in his life, particularly in his interactions with the people of Judah. The year was 597 BC. Nebuchadnezzar's gaze fell upon the kingdom of Judah, a small but strategically important kingdom in the Levant. Judah, ruled by King Jehoiakim, had been a vassal state of Assyria but had grown increasingly assertive after the Assyrian Empire's fall. Jehoiakim, emboldened by the changing political landscape, made the fateful decision to rebel against Babylonian rule. This act of defiance would have dire consequences, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the fate of Jerusalem and the Jewish people. Nebuchadnezzar, enraged by this act of defiance, marched his army towards Jerusalem, determined to crush the rebellion and make an example of Judah. The siege of Jerusalem was a brutal affair. The Babylonian army, vast and well-equipped, surrounded the city, cutting off its supply lines and bombarding its walls with relentless determination. Inside the city, fear and despair gripped the hearts of the inhabitants. They knew that their defiance had come at a terrible price, and now their city, their home, was under siege by the most powerful army in the world. The fate of Jerusalem hung precariously in the balance, a stark reminder of the cost of rebellion against the might of Babylon. The Lion of Mesopotamia, Nebuchadnezzar's ascent. Nebuchadnezzar II, the name itself conjures images of towering ziggurats, shimmering gold, and the might of a bygone empire. But before the legends, before the conquests that would etch his name into the annals of history, Nebuchadnezzar was a prince of Babylon, groomed from birth to inherit a legacy of power and ambition. Born into the royal house of Nabopolassar, the very king who had shattered the seemingly invincible Assyrian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar's destiny was intertwined with the fate of Babylon. His father, a shrewd strategist and a visionary leader, had not only liberated Babylon from Assyrian rule, but had also laid the foundation for a new era of Babylonian dominance in the ancient Near East. As a young prince, Nebuchadnezzar would have been immersed in the intricacies of courtly life, receiving instruction in diplomacy, warfare, and the art of governance. He would have witnessed firsthand his father's campaigns, learning the complexities of military strategy and the brutal realities of war. The lessons learned on those battlefields would shape him into a formidable military commander, earning him the moniker the Lion of Mesopotamia. But Nebuchadnezzar's education extended beyond the battlefield. He was also schooled in the rich cultural and intellectual traditions of Babylon. He would have delved into the mysteries of astronomy, marveling at the celestial movements that captivated Babylonian scholars. He would have studied ancient texts, absorbing the wisdom and knowledge accumulated over centuries. This multifaceted upbringing, a blend of martial prowess and intellectual curiosity, would mold Nebuchadnezzar into a ruler of unparalleled capability, a king destined to leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Fertile Crescent under Babylonian rule, a tapestry of cultures. Imagine the ancient Near East, a region teeming with life, a crossroads of cultures and civilizations. This was the world Nebuchadnezzar inherited, a world shaped by the ebb and flow of empires, a world where the echoes of ancient Sumerian civilization still resonated through the grand temples and bustling marketplaces. The Babylonian Empire, under Nebuchadnezzar's rule, encompassed a vast swathe of this ancient world, stretching from the Persian Gulf in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. It encompassed the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, the ancient cities of Assyria, and the bustling trade routes that crisscrossed the Levant. This vast empire was not a monolith, but rather a tapestry, woven from diverse cultures, languages, and religious beliefs. Babylonian rule, while firm, was not inherently oppressive. Nebuchadnezzar, like many ancient rulers, understood the importance of maintaining stability within his realm. He allowed conquered peoples to retain their customs and religious practices, as long as they paid their taxes and acknowledged Babylonian authority. This policy of relative tolerance fostered a period of economic prosperity and cultural exchange. Babylon, the empire's beating heart, became a melting pot of ideas and innovations. Traders from distant lands flocked to its bustling markets, bringing with them exotic goods, new technologies, and tales from far-off lands. However, beneath this veneer of stability and prosperity lay the ever-present threat of rebellion. The Babylonian Empire, vast and powerful as it was not immune to the forces of discontent that simmered beneath the surface. The seeds of rebellion, sown in the hearts of those who yearned for independence, would eventually bear bitter fruit, challenging Nebuchadnezzar's rule and shaping the destiny of his empire. The weight of divinity kingship in ancient Babylon. Kingship was a sacred duty, a divine mandate bestowed upon chosen individuals. Nebuchadnezzar viewed himself as a shepherd chosen by the gods to guide his people. The cosmos was ruled by a pantheon of gods and goddesses. Marduk, the patron deity of Babylon, held supreme authority. Nebuchadnezzar was seen as Marduk's earthly representative. This divine mandate carried immense weight. Whispers of discontent, seeds of rebellion in Judah. While Nebuchadnezzar consolidated his power and expanded his empire, whispers of discontent began to circulate in the distant kingdom of Judah. This small but strategically important kingdom, nestled in the Levant, had long been caught in the crosshairs of larger empires, a pawn in a geopolitical game played out over centuries. Judah, under the rule of King Jehoiakim, had once been a vassal state of the Assyrian Empire. However, with the Assyrian collapse and the rise of Babylon, Jehoiakim saw an opportunity to assert his independence, to break free from the shackles of foreign domination. This desire for independence was fueled not only by political ambition, but also by religious fervor. The people of Judah, unlike their Babylonian counterparts, were monotheistic, worshipping Yahweh as their one true God. This religious distinction created a fundamental clash of worldviews, a sense of separation from the polytheistic beliefs that permeated Babylonian society. Jehoiakim, emboldened by the changing political landscape and perhaps encouraged by promises of Egyptian support, made the fateful decision to rebel against Babylonian rule. He ceased paying tribute to Nebuchadnezzar, a direct challenge to Babylonian authority and a blatant act of defiance that would have far-reaching consequences. This act of rebellion, a spark of defiance in a world dominated by Babylonian might, would set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the fate of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar, upon hearing of Jehoiakim's treachery, would unleash his fury, determined to crush this rebellion and make an example of Judah, a warning to any who dared to question the might of Babylon. The year was 597 BC. A shadow fell across the Judean hills, a harbinger of the storm to come. News of Nebuchadnezzar's impending invasion spread through the streets of Jerusalem like wildfire, carrying with it a chilling premonition of doom. Inside the city walls, a sense of urgency gripped the inhabitants. King Jehoiakim, his earlier bravado now a distant memory, rallied his defenses, preparing for the inevitable siege. Artisans labored tirelessly, reinforcing the city gates, stockpiling provisions, and strengthening the walls that stood as their only barrier against the Babylonian war machine. The atmosphere within Jerusalem was thick with trepidation. Men, women, and children went about their daily tasks with an underlying current of fear, their thoughts consumed by the impending invasion. Priests offered prayers to Yahweh, beseeching their God for deliverance from the approaching enemy. As the sun began its final descent, casting long shadows across the Judean countryside, the ground trembled beneath the weight of marching feet. The Babylonian army, a vast and formidable force, appeared on the horizon, their banners fluttering in the wind, a terrifying spectacle of military might. Nebuchadnezzar, the Lion of Mesopotamia, had arrived at the gates of Jerusalem, his patience exhausted, his fury ignited by Jehoiakim's defiance. The siege of Jerusalem, a pivotal moment in the history of both Babylon and Judah, was about to begin. The very earth seemed to tremble as Nebuchadnezzar's army approached Jerusalem. A vast, disciplined force, hardened by years of conquest, they marched beneath the Babylonian banners, their armor glinting in the sunlight. The air was thick with the dust of their advance, a palpable sign of their overwhelming might. For the people of Judah, the sight of the approaching army must have been terrifying. Whispers of the Babylonian army's ruthlessness had long circulated throughout the region, tales of cities razed, populations displaced, and entire civilizations brought to their knees. Now that fearsome force stood poised to unleash its fury upon Jerusalem. Nebuchadnezzar, mounted on his war chariot, surveyed the city with a cold, calculating gaze. Jerusalem, with its towering walls and the gleaming dome of Solomon's temple, stood as a symbol of defiance against his rule. He had offered Jehoiakim a chance to submit, to acknowledge Babylonian supremacy and preserve his throne. That offer had been met with foolish defiance, and now Nebuchadnezzar would make Judah pay the price. The Babylonian siege strategy was as calculated as it was brutal. Their engineers, masters of ancient warfare, set about constructing siege ramps, their objective to breach the seemingly impregnable walls of Jerusalem. Archers rained down arrows upon the city's defenders, while catapults hurled stones, each impact chipping away at the city's defenses and the morale of its inhabitants. As the siege wore on, Jerusalem's situation grew desperate. Food and water became scarce, rationed to the city's dwindling population. The relentless bombardment took its toll on the city's defenses and the spirit of its people. Fear and uncertainty gnawed at even the most devout. Some clung to hope for a miracle, while others succumbed to despair. King Jehoiakim, once confident, found himself increasingly isolated. His advisors, now doubtful, urged him to seek a settlement with Nebuchadnezzar. A faction led by the prophet Jeremiah believed resistance was futile. Jeremiah preached that Yahweh allowed the Babylonians to punish his people for their sins. Many saw Jeremiah as a defeatist, clinging to the belief that Yahweh would not abandon them. In 597 BC, the inevitable arrived. The Babylonian army breached Jerusalem's walls after months of siege. The defenders, exhausted, put up a futile resistance. The streets became a chaotic battleground. The air was thick with the clash of steel and anguished cries. Babylonian soldiers showed no mercy. King Jehoiakim was captured, his fate shrouded in mystery. Nebuchadnezzar ordered the destruction of the city walls. Solomon's temple was looted. The Ark of the Covenant vanished. The fall of Jerusalem sent shockwaves throughout the region. With Jerusalem conquered, Nebuchadnezzar consolidated control over Judah. He installed Zedekiah as a puppet ruler. Thousands were deported to Babylon, altering Jewish history. This exile, known as the Babylonian Captivity, was pivotal for Judaism. Among the deported were Judean elites. Nebuchadnezzar aimed to prevent uprisings and bolster Babylon's economy. The journey to Babylon was arduous and perilous. Survivors arrived traumatized, stripped of their homeland and way of life. The Babylonian captivity was a time of religious and cultural introspection. The foundations of rabbinic Judaism began to take shape in exile. Among the exiled was Daniel, noted for his piety and intelligence. Daniel rose through the Babylonian court, becoming an advisor to Nebuchadnezzar. Despite living in a foreign land, Daniel remained true to his faith. His unwavering faith aroused jealousy among other advisors. They tricked the king into issuing a decree forbidding prayer to any god but Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel continued to pray openly, defying the decree. He was thrown into a den of lions as punishment. Miraculously, Daniel emerged unharmed. Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged the power of Daniel's God. Daniel's story became a source of hope and inspiration for the exiled Jews. Nebuchadnezzar's reign was a time of unprecedented military expansion. He led his armies on relentless campaigns, forging an empire from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. His military prowess became legendary. Nebuchadnezzar's campaigns were meticulously planned, employing innovative tactics. One enduring conquest was the subjugation of the Levant. Control of the Levant gave Babylon access to lucrative trade routes. His campaigns extended eastward into Elam. Nebuchadnezzar subdued the Elamites through military might and diplomacy. These conquests established Babylon as the dominant force in the Near East. Nebuchadnezzar's reign marked the zenith of Babylonian power. Nebuchadnezzar was also a visionary builder. Under his direction, Babylon underwent intense construction. The city was adorned with towering ziggurats, opulent palaces, and colossal walls. These walls were works of art, adorned with glazed bricks depicting mythical creatures. The Ishtar Gate was a marvel of ancient engineering and artistry. The walls protected the city and projected an image of strength. Passing through the Ishtar Gate, one would be struck by the grandeur of Nebuchadnezzar's vision. The construction required vast resources and a skilled workforce. Thousands of laborers transformed Nebuchadnezzar's vision into reality. The walls were a testament to Babylonian ingenuity and power. The Hanging Gardens captured the imagination of the ancient world. Nebuchadnezzar commissioned the gardens as a gift to his wife, Amytis. The gardens recreated the lush landscapes of Media. They were designed as tiered platforms interconnected by staircases. The platforms were covered with fertile soil, supporting a variety of plants. An intricate system of aqueducts and pumps irrigated the gardens. The gardens were a breathtaking feat of engineering. They represented a triumph over nature. The Hanging Gardens were a symbol of Babylonian ingenuity. They transformed the harsh environment into a place of beauty and wonder. Nebuchadnezzar understood the importance of law and order. He commissioned the Code of Nebuchadnezzar to maintain order within his empire. The code addressed a wide range of issues, from property rights to criminal offenses. It emphasized restorative justice, often requiring compensation for theft. The code reflected Nebuchadnezzar's vision of a well-governed society. It aimed to foster economic prosperity and social stability. Nebuchadnezzar's legacy as a lawgiver is an important aspect of his reign. His code influenced the development of legal thought for centuries. The Code of Nebuchadnezzar provided valuable insights into Babylonian legal thought. It served as a model for later legal codes in the region. Nebuchadnezzar's reign was not without its shadows. Ancient accounts hint at a period of profound mental turmoil. The Book of Daniel describes Nebuchadnezzar being afflicted with a strange ailment. He was driven from his throne and forced to live like a wild animal. This period of madness lasted for 7 years. Afterward, Nebuchadnezzar's sanity was restored. He acknowledged the sovereignty of Yahweh. The story offers a glimpse into the complex inner life of the king. It adds a layer of complexity to his legacy. The story highlights the transformative power of faith. Nebuchadnezzar's impact on Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar II transformed Babylon into a dazzling metropolis, a beacon of power and cultural achievement. His reign left an indelible mark, shaping the political, economic, and cultural landscape. Under his rule, Babylon experienced unprecedented prosperity and stability. Grand temples, imposing palaces, and public works projects flourished. Nebuchadnezzar's reign also witnessed a flourishing of Babylonian culture. He patronized the arts and sciences, attracting scholars and artisans. His court became a center of learning and innovation. Administrative reforms strengthened the Babylonian bureaucracy. Policies promoted trade and economic growth, enriching Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar's impact was profound and multifaceted. He left behind a city reflecting the dynamism and cultural richness of Babylonian civilization. A golden age Babylonian culture under Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar's reign marked a golden age for Babylonian culture, flourishing in arts, sciences, and intellectual pursuits. His patronage fostered innovation and celebrated Babylonian achievements. Significant strides in astronomy and mathematics were made, influencing later civilizations. Astronomy intertwined with religious beliefs, guiding festivals and military campaigns. Mathematics flourished, developing a versatile sexagesimal system. Literature, poetry, and music thrived, reflecting the era's creativity. Scribes produced epic tales and legal documents, cementing Nebuchadnezzar's legacy. Echoes of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar's influence on later empires. Nebuchadnezzar's reign cast a long shadow, influencing the ancient Near East for centuries. His military conquests and architectural achievements inspired later empires. The Persian Empire adopted many aspects of Nebuchadnezzar's administrative system. They used satraps to administer their vast empire. The Persians continued the practice of religious tolerance. Nebuchadnezzar's architectural achievements left a lasting impression. Alexander the Great admired Babylon's magnificence. His admiration reflects Nebuchadnezzar's enduring legacy. Even the Roman Empire drew inspiration from Babylonian architecture. The Romans incorporated Babylonian design into their cities. Nebuchadnezzar's legacy influenced the course of empires throughout history. Nebuchadnezzar's legacy is complex, shaped by his actions and historical interpretations. He is remembered as a conqueror, builder, and patron of Babylonian religion. Nebuchadnezzar expanded the empire and adorned Babylon with architectural wonders. In Jewish history, he is known for conquering Jerusalem and destroying Solomon's temple. His actions led to the Jewish exile, a pivotal event in Jewish history. The Book of Daniel portrays him as recognizing the power of Yahweh. Nebuchadnezzar's reign fascinates historians, offering insights into ancient empires and religion. As we delve into the annals of history, attempting to unravel the enigma that is Nebuchadnezzar II, we must tread carefully, separating fact from fiction. Nebuchadnezzar's reputation as a ruthless conqueror is firmly entrenched in popular imagination, but a more nuanced picture emerges with a critical eye. He was a prolific builder and a patron of the arts and sciences. His reign witnessed a flourishing of Babylonian culture. Nebuchadnezzar's religious beliefs deserve a nuanced examination. His interactions with Daniel suggest an openness to other faiths. Reassessing Nebuchadnezzar's place in history requires us to move beyond simplistic labels. He embodied both the brutality and the brilliance of ancient Mesopotamian civilization. The sands of time have a way of burying even the grandest monuments. Yet, Nebuchadnezzar II, the Lion of Mesopotamia, still stands out as a colossus. His name still resonates through the millennia, a testament to his ambition and legacy. We remember him for the might of his empire and the armies that marched beneath the Babylonian banners. The Hanging Gardens, whether real or legend, capture the imagination. Nebuchadnezzar's reign was a blend of ruthless ambition and cultural brilliance. The story of Nebuchadnezzar leads us to confront the enduring questions of power, ambition, and the moral complexities of empire. Was he a tyrant or a visionary leader who brought order and prosperity to the ancient Near East? The answer lies somewhere in the nuanced space between these two extremes. Nebuchadnezzar's military campaigns were not unusual for his time. The ancient world was a crucible of competing empires. Warfare was an accepted instrument of statecraft. Yet to view Nebuchadnezzar solely through the lens of military conquest would be to overlook the complexities of his reign. He was a shrewd and pragmatic ruler, concerned with establishing a stable and enduring empire. His administrative reforms, legal code, and efforts to promote trade and economic prosperity point to a leader who valued more than just military might. Nebuchadnezzar's patronage of the arts and sciences transformed Babylon into a center of learning and cultural exchange. He understood that a truly great empire derived its strength from the brilliance of its culture, the ingenuity of its people, and the allure of its ideas. The moral dilemmas posed by Nebuchadnezzar's reign are not easily resolved. We can marvel at the scale of his achievements and the grandeur of his vision while acknowledging the human cost of his ambition. Ultimately, it is in grappling with these contradictions that we gain a deeper understanding of both the man and the era he represents. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of Nebuchadnezzar's legacy lies in his unintended role as an architect of faith. His conquest of Jerusalem and the subsequent Babylonian captivity, while undeniably traumatic for the Jewish people, proved to be a pivotal moment in the development of Judaism. The destruction of the First Temple, the center of Jewish religious life, forced the exiled Jews to confront the unthinkable, the loss of their holiest site, the disruption of their rituals, and the seeming absence of Yahweh's protection. This crisis of faith, however, ultimately led to a profound spiritual transformation. Deprived of their temple, Jewish priests and scholars turned their attention inward, focusing on the study of the Torah, the development of oral law, and the creation of synagogues as places of communal prayer and learning. These innovations, born out of the ashes of destruction and displacement, would lay the foundation for Rabbinic Judaism, the form of Judaism practiced by the majority of Jews today. Ironically, the very empire that sought to subdue the Jewish people inadvertently provided the crucible in which their faith was tested, reshaped, and ultimately strengthened. The Babylonian Captivity, a period of immense hardship and uncertainty, became a time of profound religious introspection, leading to innovations that would shape the future of Judaism. Nebuchadnezzar, the conqueror who sought to consolidate his earthly power, played an unwitting role in this spiritual transformation. His actions, driven by political ambition and a desire to secure his empire, had unforeseen consequences, shaping the destiny of a faith that would long outlast the grandeur of Babylon itself. Section 4. Beyond the battlefield, the enduring marks of culture. While battles dominate history, it's the quieter legacies of culture that endure. Nebuchadnezzar's reign left marks on art, science, and society. Babylon thrived as a center of learning and creativity. Astronomers made strides in understanding celestial movements. Their sexagesimal system influenced algebra and geometry. Intricate designs and epic tales marked their culture. These achievements remind us that empires are more than military victories. Section 5. Nebuchadnezzar's shadow, a legacy in layers. Nebuchadnezzar's legacy is a multifaceted tapestry woven from threads of conquest, ambition, cultural brilliance, and religious persecution. He is a figure who continues to fascinate and challenge us. His story a reminder that history is rarely black and white. In the annals of Babylonian history, he's remembered as a great king, a builder, and a restorer of ancient traditions. In the Jewish tradition, he's the destroyer of the first temple and the architect of exile. Perhaps the answer lies in recognizing that Nebuchadnezzar was a product of his time, shaped by the beliefs, customs, and political realities of the ancient Near East. Mysteries yet to be unraveled. The sands of time preserve tantalizing fragments sparking our curiosity. The Hanging Gardens captivate our imaginations, their existence debated among historians. Nebuchadnezzar's alleged madness remains speculative, offering insights into ancient power and mental health. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding the lived experiences of the exiled Jews. History is an ongoing conversation, unveiling new perspectives with each generation. Section 7. Through the Lens of Time, a timeless tale. In the grand tapestry of history, Nebuchadnezzar II stands as a figure both familiar and enigmatic, a ruler whose story transcends the boundaries of time and place. He is a reminder that the human experience, with all its complexities, its triumphs, and its failings, remains remarkably consistent across cultures and throughout the millennia. We see in Nebuchadnezzar the drive for power, the allure of ambition, and the seductive nature of empire that has captivated leaders throughout history. We witness the transformative power of faith, both in its ability to sustain individuals in times of adversity and its capacity to evolve and adapt to changing circumstances. We confront the enduring questions of morality and leadership, the complexities of wielding power, and the enduring tension between pursuing one's ambitions and ensuring the welfare of those we govern. Nebuchadnezzar's story, though rooted in the distant past, speaks to us in the present, reminding us that the challenges we face as individuals and as a global community are not entirely new. The lessons we glean from his reign, both positive and cautionary, can inform our own understanding of leadership, the importance of cultural preservation, and the need for compassion and understanding in a world still grappling with the legacies of conquest and the pursuit of power. As we look back on the life and legacy of this enigmatic king, we are reminded that history is not merely a collection of names and dates, but rather a tapestry woven from the threads of human experience, a rich and complex narrative that continues to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world we inhabit. And so Nebuchadnezzar's story, passed down through generations, continues to resonate, a timeless tale that speaks to the enduring power of ambition, the resilience of faith, and the enduring legacy of human civilization itself.